Okay. I pressed to go live, Pete, and you weren't ready. And we are live. And Pete's throwing his hands up in the air, going, "Why did you press the live?" Because it's 7 minutes past 11, and he's going, "But I hadn't got my tripod in the right place." Good morning, everybody. Pinhole Quilting, 11 a.m. on the dot of 7 minutes past 11. We are live, and we would like to welcome everybody who is watching from wherever in the world you might be. We would welcome you to the Pinhole Quilting Pershore in Worcestershire Showroom. And I'm standing by our lovely Moxie 15-inch throat space. That means from the needle to the edge of this upright part of the long arm. And the Moxie it's become a bit of a favourite amongst our customers. It came out last year, and we started delivering it around the UK and Europe. We've got some customers who were desperate to get it in Denmark and Spain. And one of our customers actually has got a training centre in Denmark, and she's got a couple of those. I'm going to add a couple more of them later, hopefully in the year. Anyway, welcome to our showroom. We hope you enjoy this Facebook Live. It's a regular thing that we do at 11 a.m. every Saturday. It's myself, Liz, from Pinhole Quilting, and my husband, Pete, who stays determinedly behind the camera, even though I cut his hair in lockdown, and still do. He looks very smart. He likes to be behind the camera. And those of you who came to Festival of Quilts will have seen him. And he looks very presentable. But anyway, he likes to be a bit like on Keith Floyd. There was always the cameraman who liked to remain behind the camera. Are we okay, Pete?
We're okay, yes.
Thank goodness.
Yes, I introduced myself to somebody on the stand at Festival of Quilts, and I said, "Hello, I'm Pete." And she said, "I know who you are, I recognise your voice." I didn't know what you looked like, but it's best that way.
Ah, he's lovely. I've said it before, he's lovely. He's my husband. Of course he's lovely.
So we've got online this morning, Val Brooks, always with us. Morning,
Oh,
Val.
hi, Val.
And Lindy.
Hello, Lindy.
Louise. Hello, Louise.
Louise
Cox.
Cox in Oxford.
Graham, we owe you an email. We haven't forgotten about you.
We haven't.
We're going to see you in Harrogate.
Yes.
Di Bell.
We are. Hi, Di. You're doing some awesome graffiti quilting.
Oh, yes, that was fantastic.
Everybody's been very impressed by your graffiti quilting, Di.
Claire Shortland.
Hello, Claire.
Lynn Jones.
Yeah, hi, Lynn. I think we've got your machine.
Elaine Tabner. Yes, we have.
Yeah. Don't worry, Lynn. We'll sort it out.
What else? It's difficult to do it on that phone. Anyway, lots of people.
Pete's looking on this tiny, tiny screen. So when I'm doing Facebook Live, I'm literally looking at the back of my phone, and I'm imagining all of these. When Pete says Val Brooks, I imagine Val's face. And when I see Di, when he says Di, I imagine Val. I don't imagine Val. I imagine Di. That would be crazy if I said Di and imagined Val. That would be a very strange thing. Anyway, it's been a really. I don't think we ever don't have a busy week, do we, Pete? Because it just gets busier and busier. Rarely, yeah, rarely. So it's been another busy week. I thought I'd just give you a little roundup of our week before we get on to the really exciting stuff about long arm quilting. And Pete, if you want to interject at any moment,
I will, as always.
Try if you can. See if you can. Is there anything that you want to say at this stage, or are you happy for me to?
No, I'm just monitoring who's online, see if there are any questions cropping up.
He's got 2 laptops over there.
It's like a production.
It is. It's like a full-scale TV studio in the background. I can just see him beavering away simultaneously on 2 screens. So we had a lovely visitor who runs a quilt shop up in Edinburgh. I was very careful how I said that this time. A lovely Hazel who came down on Sunday, and I picked her up I mentioned that I was going to be picking up our first visitor to Worcestershire Parkway, and I posted over on a Facebook page, and I took some photos of Worcestershire Parkway, which is a lovely new Station, and it's in it's a place called Norton. It used to be barracks, Worcester Barracks at Norton. It's now not. It's not very far from centre of Worcester, but it's actually it's interesting what happened to Worcester as a train station. Bizarrely, I know a bit about the train station and the train line, and good old Worcester didn't manage to get itself on the train track. Central line between Birmingham and Bristol. GWR managed to not take into account Worcester. I don't think they had, for whatever reason, when they were building the train line, they didn't get it diverted to Worcester. So if you look at, for those geeks who are into trains, you might not know, but they used to have to disembark at Spetchley and get a coach, we're talking like one with horses, to Worcester. And they would get off at Spetchley, which is a beautiful old house, and there was a coach and horse that would take you into Worcester. Not a very efficient way to go about things. So the main line went literally from Birmingham to Bristol. I only know this because I read about it whilst waiting for an acupuncture session. I picked up a magazine and I read about this years ago, 10 years ago. Anyway, it was in plan that the railway line, Worcestershire Parkway, could be built on this line just south of Spetchley at Norton as a Worcestershire Parkway. And they finally built it, which is brilliant because it's not very far, 12 minutes drive from here. We were lucky because it actually opened in 2020 during COVID. And of course, nobody was really interested during COVID, but now we're very interested. And our lovely Hazel came down and I picked her up and she came here and we had a lovely time playing on the machines, and we had lunch, and then after that I dropped her back up at Worcestershire Parkway, and she'd stayed overnight at the Premier Inn over at Evesham. That's how you say it, Evesham, if you're local. And then I dropped her back at Worcestershire Parkway. She got the train back up to Birmingham International, and she flew back up to Edinburgh, and she went ahead with her order. So we're delighted about that. So she's ordered an Amara. So that was our first visitor on Monday. Simultaneously, Pete was demonstrating an Amara to a lovely couple who came from Yorkshire. So that's good as well. And then later in the week, we had Sharon, who's got a couple of our existing handy quilter machines, and she was looking at upgrading. So it was lovely to see you, Sharon. And simultaneously, I was servicing an Avanti with Pro-Stitcher. And it was a busy day, demonstrating to Sharon and to the lovely Janet, who had the most patient husband in the history of patient husbands. Well done to Nigel. And Janet had her Pro-Stitcher upgraded to 535, and beautiful new designs on 535. Janet, as you now know, particularly some things like Harriet Carpanini has just gone fantastic. 3D designs. Have a look in the folder for Harriet Carpanini if you've upgraded to 535 and haven't checked out that folder. There's tons more. So anyway, Janet's now considering, does she stick with the Avanti? Beautiful machine at 30 million stitches. I got her to turn the hand wheel while I got it all cracked open, and so she can see the innards of her Avanti. And I said, just turn that hand wheel. 30 million stitches, and she just went, it's like through butter. That Avanti is just beautiful. So anyway, she's considering her options, as is Sharon. So watch that space, both of you guys. I'll be sending you an email next week on your options. Then we also had a busy end of the week. 3 people have now got upgraded Sweet 16s because they've all had their insight tables. And a few people had their insight tables with the side tables, and it was lovely to see Sheena and Stella over in Coventry. So I had a busy day yesterday putting those all together. Because they're local customers, I offered to install it for them as well and got it all working. So that was lovely. Don't forget as well that there's a a second user Sweet 16 up in Helensburgh, up in Scotland, as a result of an Amara upgrade that was. So if you're up in the Scotland area, you might like to have a look at that. And if it doesn't sell soon, then we might well get it brought down here and we'll sell it from here, because it might be easier to get it sold from this showroom. Anyway, the other thing is, of course, that we've got our Southeast trip coming up, and we'll be doing that week after next. And Pete, do you want to talk a little bit more about that? I know you've been in touch with lots of people.
That's all planned now, apart from our accommodation along the way. But in terms of, we've got 2 installations to do, and then we've got, I think, 4 service visits. They're all in the diary, all planned. So, look forward to seeing those customers. Yes,
it's going to be fun. And we're going to see a couple of other people, aren't we, en route, which is going to be lovely. So we're looking forward to seeing, I think it's Sue and Margaret, isn't it? We've got you in the diary too, which is, I think I can say that, can't I?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, good. I'm not sure, because Pete's done all the organising for that. We've got lots of demonstrations booked in and some phone call demonstrations as well for next week. So fantastic. Another busy week coming up. I think that's everything in terms of catching up. Anything else you want to say about any comments that people have made, Pete?
No, people have been fairly quiet. We have got Fiona online from New Zealand today, though.
Whereabouts in New Zealand, Fiona?
She hasn't said
where she's we need from. To know. I spent 3 months in New Zealand, but I was I was on Operation Raleigh in 1986 and around Tianao, building tracks. I did the route burn. I did the Milford track, and I built part of the, what was it called? Kepler track. I built some of the Kepler track as part of Operation Raleigh. So if Fiona knows any of those tracks, that would be awesome. We stayed down, as I say, near Tiana. And I learned to dive in New Zealand. 7 degrees, it was freezing. Right. Yeah, I did some fantastic diving. I actually dived in Milford Sound, which was the most incredible backdrop of any diving I've ever done. Right, so we've got booked in stuff. But the other thing I wanted to mention, everybody, is if you've got a handy quilter, we've got some fantastic classes lined up for you with Abigail Sheridan de Graaf. And that includes, of course, those of you who've had a machine either last year that didn't manage to come on one of our classes, and you get a free foundation workshop as part of your purchase. You should have received your discount code. You need to enter that when you check out. If you don't have your email with your discount code, please email me. And there are 3 foundation workshops. 2 of them are the straightforward foundation workshop. 1 in September and 1 in October. The other one is called Foundation Plus. You do either Foundation or Foundation Plus. Foundation Plus is only for people who took part during lockdown in the virtual workshop. And you will have been part of a special Facebook group that Abigail ran and I took part in as well. And you will know if you were part of that group. And it is a closed group. And we did Zoom sessions on a weekly basis. You will know if you were part of it. If that doesn't make any sense and you don't recall ever doing it, then you cannot do the Foundation Plus, okay? The only other people who could do Foundation Plus is perhaps if you previously had a Sweet 16 and you've upgraded, for example, say Raquel lives in Evesham. And Raquel just upgraded to from a Sweet 16 to an Amara, and we're going to install it in September. Raquel, you might want to do the Foundation Plus, because we know you know all about the Sweet 16, but you need to learn how to load the Amara. You should come on the Foundation Plus, and you could either come on the September one or the October one, and I'll send you the code, okay? I must make a note, actually, Raquel. You can do the Foundation Plus. Okay. Okay, so the other classes that we're running with Abigail are Rulers, Feathers and Fills and dream big. Dream big, like I've got on the wall. I really want to flip around to that. So dream big, you'll get what you need to do the class. We do on the class itself. We don't do the whole thing. It's way too much to do on a class. We do a quarter of the panel, and you get this as part of your class kit. A few little fluffy bits there. This is included. The quarter panel is included. And you can choose from one of the colourways that we will have available when you come to the class.
Yes. So it won't be necessarily that one. You'll have a choice of different ones.
Yeah.
So question, is the Dream Big workshop freehand?
Freehand. You can use some rulers. There'll be some grid work.
Yes, but it's not computerised.
No, it's not computerised. No. No, all of that is completely freehand. I didn't use any rulers on that at all. That was all improv. But we will be doing a variety of techniques, and Abigail will be teaching you some grid work. That's where we use some of the grid work that Cindy Needham, for example, uses, and we use Pounce chalk and create some grids. If you look at the photos that are on the Dream Big workshop, I've put a load up there. I think there's about 12 photos from the last time we ran the workshop. I've put a ton up there because I took loads of photos, and you'll see some of the colourways that are available. They won't all be available because they change them. Now, something really important you need to know. We have a lot of different machines. We have the Moxie, we have Simply 16, we have an Avanti, we have lots of Amaras. We have, for the sit-down people, we have Sweet 16s, we have some Fafs, we have Capris. So when you book that class, you might have an Avanti, but we might have sold out of Avantis. Don't worry. If you see that the machine you normally stitch on is sold out, just book another stand-up. Book an Amara. It's the same price. If you normally stitch on a Sweet 16, we might have a Capri. It's a £7,500 machine, and it's going to be £130 for the day to stitch on a £7,500 machine. Book the Capri. It's probably free. And it's not free, it's £130, but it's probably available. Okay, so what I'm saying is, don't just go for the machine that you normally stitch on. For £145, you could be stitching on how much is an Infinity, Pete? 17?
17,500.
£17,500 machine. You could stitch on it for £145 and get your Dream Big panel, a quarter of a Dream Big panel.
If you're a movable machine person and you've got a handy quilter, if you can use one handy quilter machine, you can use them all. And the same for the stationary
Well, they're
machines
not all the same.
Too. So a couple of things. Liz, first of all, Fiona is currently in Wellington.
Oh, Wellington.
But she is from Hawke's Bay.
Hawke's Bay. Lovely.
New Zealand. She hasn't she hasn't walked the tracks, but she has been to Milford Sound.
Oh, it is beautiful.
And Jenny wants to do both the Dream Big and the Feathers and Fills classes, but she's going to be away that week. Oh. Are we planning to do some more?
In the spring. We can't do any more this side of Christmas.
Although the Feathers and Fills class is a more standard class than
it is.
Dream
Big. We will almost always be doing a Rulers, Feathers and Fills class in the batches of classes we do for the foundation. So typically what we've done is we've run them in the autumn, so, in the fall, and in the spring. And because of the whole COVID thing, looking at how things will work out, and because of our diaries and stuff, we've got shows and things coming up, and because we plan to run Linda's ambassador event later in the year, and then we've got Christmas, and then we've got January and February, and we're not going to run classes in January and February. It'll be the spring, and then we'll run our foundation workshop, the Rulers, Feathers and Fills. So was that Jenny Crossland?
No, that was
Jenny.
Who was it?
Because Jenny Crossland was asking about the classes, Pete, and I did reply to Jenny Crossland.
No, Jenny Humphrey.
Oh, Jenny Humphrey. Okay, Jenny Humphrey. So in the spring. So by spring, I mean late March, early April. I can't remember when Easter is this year.
And Elaine is asking, are we doing these classes during October? So
no, only one in October.
Elaine,
the foundation.
if you go to our handyquilter.co.uk website, you'll see there's a tab for classes in the top left-hand corner. You'll find all of the details of the classes and the dates on there.
It's under, it says classes, then it says Pinhole Quilting Showroom classes. Yeah. Because we run different classes. Some are at shows, some will be called academy classes. The ones I'm talking about now are Pinhole Quilting Showroom classes. Now, next thing is, any other comments, Pete?
No,
Okay.
that's it.
All right. So the other thing is, Linda and I are working on the ambassador event next week. We were due to work on it this week, but events overtook me for various reasons. So I apologise about that, and I apologise to Linda about that, because I was due to talk to Linda this week, and as I say, events overtook. So sorry about that. Now, we've got new products. And then I'm going to get onto the demos. Let's talk about these new products, Pete. Do you want to just focus on those? Look at, we love threads. We can't help but buy threads, honestly. We just love these. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. 100 weight, 2,500 meters on a cone, Invisifil. By Wonderfil.
So we had a restricted range before. We've now expanded the range. These are the colours available. It's a fantastic thread.
Look at that one. Look at that one. Georgie, I was thinking of you. Lorraine Gray, that you are responsible for some of these colours. Absolutely. Look at that one. That's Clover, I think. And this is gorgeous. Now, years ago, before our lovely Stuart Hillard, Handy Quilter Ambassador, before he even got an Avante, I quilted a quilt for him. It was a kimono sort of style quilt. So it was indigo, white and orange, kind of traditional colours. And I quilted it, very brave, with a Pro-Stitcher, and I used that colour. I used that colour, 100 weight, and it looked amazing. I hardly got any thread breaks at all. I didn't even think about thread breaks. I used a 14 needle. I've still got, on one of my bobbins, I've still got the rest of the bobbin fill, which was 100 weight as well. 100 weight on top, 100 weight in the bobbin. I don't even think that, I honestly think that some of it is psychological. You kind of think, oh gosh, 100 weight, it's going to be really difficult. If you don't think about it being difficult, it ain't going to be difficult. Right, so we've got all these lovely new, beautiful 100 weight Invisifil colours, as well as the existing colours. So what we thought we would do is, I'm going to reduce the price of these. They're not reduced yet, but they are all on the website, the new colours, as well as the existing colours. So we're going to do, until next Saturday, we're going to do 10% off, aren't we, Pete?
We are.
We're going to do 10% off. So I'm going to set that up. So by 12:30, you'll be able to go on, and if you would like to order any Invisifil this week until 11 AM next Saturday, you'll be able to order them at 10% off, and they're already at a very good price. How much are they, Pete? Can you remember?
They're £11 is the standard price.
£11 is the standard price, so you're going to get 10% off. So it's £1.10 off. Okay. And if I didn't have a headache, I would tell you what that is, but I can't do maths. Right. So I'm going to move these now. I'm going to put these in a basket. Can I put those in a basket?
Yep, here we go. Basket's here.
Thank you. Right.
You just have to ask your wingman. That's what I'm here for.
I'm going to ask my wingman for the basket, and there it was. And those are going to go home with me. No, not really. They're going to go in somebody else's basket, I think. There we go. Thank you, wingman. Now, next. What's on our list next? Next! You know what I'm going to show people next, Pete? Shall I just cut this off and I'll come down your end?
No.
Okay, you're going to... Okay. Well, I need to cut this off because I want to demo the next thing. Our next new product. Because I said there were new products. This is very exciting. We've been trying to source this for ages, haven't we, Pete?
Yeah, more difficult than you might imagine.
Yes, more difficult than you might imagine. Now, I'm going to
I've had
unthread.
to, sample one or two.
Yeah. We had a sample of this product in our toolkit because when we time and service the machines, it's very important. Now, what we're talking about is, and one of our customers who was here on Thursday and I was servicing her machine, she said, 2 critical things, and she quilts for other people, and she actually quilts for another business as well. So she does her own, oh, I feel a bit dizzy. She quilts for other people, and yeah, so she quilts for other people and she quilts for herself on her Avanti. She quilts on the Infinity and another Avanti. So she uses 3 different machines. She says the most important thing for her, as far as she's concerned, because she's quite particular about the tension. She said, number 1 is tension, making sure the top and the bottom thread are absolutely, perfectly, as for her, perfectly sighted. And don't show, top on the bottom, bottom on the top, all that kind of thing. And the other thing is position of the needle, which is very much linked, obviously, to this tension. So getting the needle in straight so that the eye of the needle is absolutely looking at you. When I'm standing here, I need this eye. Pete, could you open that door for me a little bit more, please? I need that eye of the needle to be absolutely looking at me. So what we've got, and it's sitting on 2 little screws here, is a magnet. Now, I know some people have ordered, in fact, this lady who came on Thursday said, I've just ordered 2 magnets from the States for that. I said, wow, how amazing, because we've just got some magnets in from the UK, and we're going to stock these, and they're going to be on Facebook Live on Saturday. You didn't have to order those from the States, but of course she didn't know that. So the way that it works is this, is that you can put this magnet on, and because the front of where the groove lies is effectively flat, because the needle shaft is round, but the groove forces it to be slightly flat. When you put it on the front face, it's actually flat. So we've got this rectangular, very powerful magnet, and when it's actually put in correctly, it's going to face you. I've got a little screwdriver here. So let me take that off and I'll show you. And it just fits on one of these. There's always 2 screws on the left-hand side. Now, you might not be able to see this. Pete just opened the door for me because I was feeling a little bit hot. So on most of the machines, these 2 screws are going to be nicely magnetic. So when you're not using the magnet, you can put it up there. Now I'm going to actually do this so that I'm going to put the needle so it's completely wrong.
Now, we did previously sell a Bowen product.
Yes.
And we still sell it. It's a needle threader, but it also has a magnet on the end.
Right.
Disadvantage of that is, firstly, it's very expensive, and secondly, the magnet isn't very strong.
No.
These magnets are extremely
I'll get this
strong.
slightly off. I'll put it there. It's actually quite hard to get it slightly off now. You're so used to doing it so that it's... Let me just do it so it's... I got it too far off. It was almost at 1:15. Let's get it slightly off so you can see it better. There we go. Oh, hang on. Right. Okay. Right. So I've put my needle in, and I'm checking to see if it's in straight.
So I'm face onto the machine here, and you can see that the magnet is pointing to about sort of 430 position. So it's not in sufficiently straight.
Yeah. So let's take that off. So I'll just rotate it. And in fact, what I found was I could actually hold it in place. There we go. Do you want to just zoom in on there, Pete? So I actually left it in place and just moved it.
There we go. Nice and straight.
Yeah?
Yep.
And then when I'm done, I just pop that up there. So these are going to retail. They will be up on the website at 12:30 because we just got them in and I was out all day yesterday. So we're just taking some pictures of them and they'll be up on the website at 12:30 and they're going to retail at £5. Right. And I think it will help people a lot, won't it? I mean, we've already found that for our servicing, they're absolutely invaluable. Because if you've got dodgy eyesight like we have, you know, you find that you're looking over your glasses, under your glasses, bifocals being what they are. And you can sort of tick it off the list of the things that might be wrong. Got my needle in straight? Yes, I have. Right. Okay, that's good. Because I haven't checked my tension. That's completely loose. I can tell that just from how it's stitching. That looks a bit better. Let's have a look. Haven't used this machine since we came back from festival. That looks better. Right. Oh. Right, just might have gone a bit too far on the old tension. So I'm just adjusting this tension. Just doing some test stitching. Okay. Any comments, Pete, about anything that we need to talk about?
Yes, so Elaine says, will they be listed under machine needles and accessories? I think that is a good place to list them, Liz.
Yeah, I can, you know, because we've got quite a few in, didn't we, Pete?
Yes.
I can easily put them in two places and we'll just monitor the stock.
Okay.
If you want, if that would make sense. Yeah, that was a bit too tight.
And did you mention the electronics?
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so when Pete and I were discussing it just before we started the Facebook Live, obviously it's a strong magnet. You need to keep it away from computers, computer electronics and boards and things. There are computer boards on here. So what we want to do is make sure it doesn't, you know, put it right up against this. And if the Moxie, if you add the Pro-Stitcher light that's coming later in the year, you don't want to put it right next to the computer. So there are a few places that you can put it. You can put it on the handlebars.
Yeah, on the Moxie, you've got steel handlebars, so it fits there.
And we've on most of them, most of the handy quilters, there is inside here, as part of the mechanics, which is metals, there's actually some bolts. So these two bolts here, we think that's a safe place to put it.
There's no electronics behind them.
There's no electronics at all. But you don't want to put it next to the board or on the Sweet 16 right next to the display. So what we're going to do is take some photos of each of the machines that we've got and show you where we think is a safe place to put it.
It's unlikely to cause a problem. We're being a bit cautious with this.
Yeah,
but,
we are. We don't
if you notice flickering on your screen, then it could be the magnet that's causing that.
Yeah.
If it's too close.
Right. I just got the tension a bit too tight. It was too loose, and then I went too tight. So actually, this is just a useful thing for just. It's always important learning point to note that when we're adjusting the tension, doing a tension test, the way that I do that is I look at this. This was how loose the tension was. I've literally just on the back of here will be a bird's nest because we were a little bit tight on time, and because I was sending out the email newsletter, because I got back fairly late last night, seeing my parents and doing lots of things, like other stuff, not work stuff. And so I sent out the email newsletter this morning, and when I got down here, I thought, oh gosh, I haven't tested the Moxie. We haven't used it since festival. So I threaded it up, put in a new bobbin, got to do a tension test, and the tension was so loose, it's literally come undone. Then I went the wrong way, not the wrong way, but I went over the top, and it broke the thread, So what you have to do then is obviously rethread it, and then check the tension again, and that looks okay. So in fact, that looks really nice. There we go. So I'm now going to show you our next live demo.
Question from Claire Shortland. Have you seen the new Dream Big poinsettia panels?
No.
Might be good for Christmas. No, I haven't seen them either.
Ooh. Make a note. Thank you, Claire. That would be good for Christmas. Oh, I do like a poinsettia. Christmas panels. I will talk to the supplier. I've been looking for something different, actually, because I did love their other smaller panels, and with the sort of the neon, not the neon, but the other things they did, the smaller ones. Oh, good. Anybody else who sees something they think, I would buy that, let me know, because, you know, you are my eyes and ears. I'm not saying I get it in, but I definitely have a look. Dream Big, and there's a few other things from them that I was looking at as well, because I do love a whole cloth panel, and that's what we love doing. So anything else, Pete?
No.
Okay, let's talk about channel locks. So on my email newsletter, I talked about channel locks. Our Moxie mentor, the lovely Jo Avery, who lives up in Scotland, she'd got this beautiful quilt that she wanted to quilt. And when we were with her, we showed her how she could use channel locks. This is a very simple device, comes with your Moxie, comes with every stand-up long arm from Handy Quilter. We normally use it when we're basting a quilt to put it on to the long arm, but you can also use it when you want to do straight lines vertically or horizontally, and you can use it instead of a ruler if you just want to do like a long horizontal or a long vertical, and we put it on the wheels. So I've got my needle's in the work. So if I put it on the wheels, on the carriage, on the wheels, on one wheel, I've now locked the wheel, so I won't be able to do this. I can only do this. And this is what Jo did. She just did this. You can see how hard it is. I'm using a single finger. And she put her Fitbit on. She put her Fitbit on and she walked. Audible book. And then you get to the end, and if you're very careful, it doesn't work every time, you can kind of ease it towards you, and then you go back the other way. One finger. With your Audible book on.
Such a great way of doing perfect horizontal lines on your movable machine.
And then, be very careful. Da-da-da. You can see how hard this is. Oh, I have broken my thread actually. There. Now, that might be for lots of different reasons, but I would need to check. I might have a burr on the needle. It just came back from festival. Look, it's shredded.
Yes, we haven't changed the needles
No.
since the machines came back.
So
here are lovely lines, which are about 1/4 of an inch apart.
I kind of guesstimated that.
Yes, but you could be more accurate if you wish to with a ruler.
And I could do, if I use thicker thread, I could do 6 or 7 stitches per inch.
So if you're into modern quilting, which
Joe is, and I could have my Beat headphones on. I could be listening to trance. I could be listening to my Audible book, whatever you feel like. And this is just, that's how hard it is. It's that difficult. What do you think? Not bad, eh? Not bad. Apart from the fact it can shred it. It is definitely a shredding issue. That's a needle. That's definitely a needle problem. Yeah. New needle. New needle. New needle needed. Okay. I should change the needle. Right. So that was our live demo. Just goes to show you, live demos. That's what happens. Now.
So Maureen says that the clamps, you can use them just to check that your top is straight when you roll the work forward as well.
That's a very good idea.
Absolutely correct, Maureen. They are so good for checking your alignment if you're doing pantographs even.
Yep. Okay. So,
apparently your mic's gone off, Liz. Can you just check?
Nope.
Unplug, switch off, plug in again.
If all else fails?
If all else fails, you'll have my microphone.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm talking. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Yes, I've got some thumbs ups. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for your thumbs ups.
Good.
You can hear me.
Probably just caught the cable as you were walking around.
Yeah. Good. Okay, well that was, and we can do the same thing in that direction. We just put it on the other wheel. So that was on the carriage wheel. And, oh, yeah, it does get a bit, I prefer putting it in my pocket next time. I'm just going to cut the bobbin thread. The thing about having the top thread go is obviously our bobbin thread is still attached. Always remember that. Rookie error is to forget that your bobbin thread is still attached. So if I put it on the back wheel, do you want to just show this? So that was on this carriage wheel. Oh, and look, this was something that happened when do you remember when we went up to Joe's? And we have to clean the inside of these wheels. Otherwise, it doesn't feel very smooth. So that was on this one, and that's when you go side to side. And if we put it on this one, that means that you can go front and back. Oh, and this also needs to be, make sure that's always not caught up. So that means that we can then do front back. Okay? So that's how we use our channel locks. Very inexpensive method of doing channel locks. There is, not for the Moxie, but there is an electromagnetic channel lock available for the other machines. But when the Pro-Stitcher Lite comes out for Moxie and Simply 16, which we'll be demoing in November 20, what year are we in? 2021?
Side list because of the light.
Yeah, we're 2021. November 2021, we will have the Pro-Stitcher Lite for Moxie and Simply 16. That would enable us to use the equivalent of electromagnetic channel locks. That will mean that we can do things like that by literally just kind of going, press a button, and it'll lock the carriage, and that gets to be a lot of fun. And that will also mean that we can do beautiful patterns on the Moxie, and it'll drive itself, just like we can on the other machines. Then the world is your oyster if you want to do computerized quilting. That's a whole other ball game. But I hope that was of interest to those of you who have the Moxie, but also for those of you who've got the other stand-up long arms. Have you played around with channel locks, and have you exploited the options that it presents for modern quilting? Lots and lots of easy options without having to go to the rulers. There we go. Lots of fun. And don't forget classes. Bookings are going very, very quickly. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun in here. We've got all of these machines. They all need to be used on our classes. And Abigail is dying to get back in the classroom. She's full of enthusiasm for it. She'll have moved by then, won't she? I think she'll have moved by then. Yeah, she'll have moved by then. She's all fit and ready to go, so that's great. By then also, we'll of course have launched our ambassador event. More details of that will follow imminently. They have to. They have to. We will have got all our details for that before we go down to the southeast. Bookings will be opening very, very soon. Very soon. Any comments, Pete?
I was just replying online to Caroline Broadhead, who says, is the Moxie good for a first long arm? As I desperately want one.
Yeah.
So yes.
It's fantastic as a first long arm. In fact, I had a lovely conversation with a lady over in Ireland, Wicklow, and she's a friend of an existing handy quilter owner that Pete did the installation for, very well known Irish lady who's a singer, and she's a good friend. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I? No. Anyway, this lady phoned, and anyway, she's been watching String and Story on Instagram. So if you are considering a long arm, String and Story look them up on Instagram. She has a Moxie, and she's a great place to start looking at the Moxie. And she's got this lady over in Ireland into quilting through a very difficult time in her life. And I know that it's really been helpful to her. So if you're thinking about the Moxie, follow Instagram, String and Story. There you go. There's always other people who are doing it. And it might
Avery. And Joe Avery, of course.
And, well, yes, of course, Joe Avery. But I'm just saying that this particular person found String and Story. You know, different people. We have... I found there was the Follow Your Muse. There was a sheet. Everybody has. People find different muses, like, you know, the muse, Greek muses, that they relate to. I mean, Abigail has different people than me. You know, we're different ages, and so someone that I love isn't going to be the same person that Abigail does, because we're just kind of, you know, different parts of our lives. And, you know, different people resonate in different ways. Of course they do. So it depends on you finding your muse. So, you know, something for somebody in their 30s, and this particular lady in Ireland is 39. And so a different person will find a different muse. So that's what you've got to do. Just search on Instagram and go, that's for me. Like the person who does our Instagram feed, because we can't do everything, so I have delegated our Instagram feed, which is why it looks beautiful, and it doesn't look like I did it. But I go through it with her, and that particular person who does our Instagram feed, is very much, we discuss what we want to do and the kind of things and the kind of things that we want to have on our Instagram feed. But that person is someone that is the daughter of like my best friend. So she's so attuned to what we want and what we're aspiring to be, because she's kind of like, she's my best friend's daughter. She's grown up with me. So those people are like part of that same ethos and the way that we are. And I think if you find that person that's your muse, that kind of person that has the same way and has the same style of you as you, and you follow them, you're going to have someone that you aspire to and inspires you. You're going to love it. You're going to love following them, and you're going to want to do things, and they'll keep you going even when you kind of think, I don't really feel like quilting today. Then you'll check out their Instagram feed and you go, yes, I do. And you'll go into your quilting room and or even just onto your kitchen table, because that might be all you have. And you'll go, right, I feel inspired because so-and-so is doing this and they've had a terrible day and I've had a terrible day. And then that will do. That's what happens. Okay, Pete, oh gosh, it's 5 to 12. We need to go. I need to get the magnet on. Magnet. Invisifil, the offer. 10% off till next Saturday, 11 a.m. It's a great deal. It's already at a very good price. Get an even better deal while you can. And have fun with the very fine thread. You'll need either a 12 or a 14 needle, which we've also got at a very good price on our website. So check out that. Check out our Sharps needles to go on your handy quilter long arm. If you don't have a handy quilter long arm and you're using a domestic, you'll probably need like a very fine needle. 80? 60. You'll need a 60, I think. It says on our website. Okay. Anything else to add, Pete? Same time, same place, next week. Have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing anybody who's visiting us next week. Next week, I'm looking forward to seeing our very special people. We've got some lovely people coming, including winner of the beginner quilt category, a festival of quilts. She hasn't fixed the time yet, but I know that I'm going to be seeing you. Ola from Festival of Quilts, who had a wonderful, wonderful time at Festival of Quilts, and I'm looking forward to demonstrating our handy quilter long arms to you, and we're going to have a fun time here. We're just going to play, and let's see where it goes. So, all the best to everybody. Lovely to have you here online with us at Pinhole Quilting. From me and Pete, have a wonderful week. Bye.